welcome to Acres of Diamonds podcast, videocast, whatever it's going to be called, number 9. I'm with DJ Ligori, co-founder of Acres of Diamonds. Hello, DJ.
Hello, how we doing?
Good. And Mark Ditroia. Mark Ditroia is a graduate of Hilton High School, long-term employee now of Van Hook, HVAC.
Yep.
And actually, the subject of today's discussion on, what is it, DJ?
Today is about work ethic.
Work ethic.
Yeah.
Oh boy, this is one of our favorites to
Oh,
go.
One of my favorites.
Yeah.
Happy to be a part of it.
Yes.
So what is it? So what is it that you and I talk about
Mhm.
work ethic all the time and how it's one of the foundational
You need it.
attributes of success. So
Yeah.
what is it that prompted you to ask Mark to actually be with us this morning?
So when I initially thought of work ethic, I thought of two people. I thought of Ricky Koch.
You and me?
Well, yeah, after us.
After us?
After
Okay,
us.
2 more people?
Yeah, so a total of 4. I thought of Ricky Koch, and I thought of Mark Ditroia. And so I did a little bit more research on this, and there were 2 areas that I thought were very important to work ethic. And the first was caring, and actually caring about another person, caring about a job, caring about your professionalism, your credibility. The art of actually caring, I think, has a huge play in work ethic. The second was being able to manage your personal life as well as your professional life. And I think this connected to the illusion of choice.
Okay.
So I think that was, and we've hit on that a little bit, and I think the more that I dug into it, managing your choices to your professional life and managing your choices to your personal life, I think people who have really good work ethics are really good at knowing that they don't have as many choices as they realize. And so when I started thinking about this, I said, Mark understands both of these. You know,
So you're saying once you've decided that your personal culture includes work ethic,
Mhm.
then a lot of your choices are made for you. There's just you
Yeah.
get somewhere on time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
It's much more black and white.
Once you've made the decision
Once
to
you've
have
made
work
that
ethic.
decision, yeah. I
Gotcha.
mean, an example could be, and I've been with Mark when this example has been, when I've seen it, hey, you know, what are we doing tonight? Oh, I'll come over and hang out, but I have X, Y, Z to do tomorrow, so I can't go nuts.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It would happen a lot, especially during the summer. It was tough. You know, hey, it's Saturday night. We're all hanging out. I'm like, all right, I could come over, but I am on call, so I can't take the risk of,
Mhm.
saying that, hey, let me have a few beers, and all of a sudden I gotta go to work, because.
So are you on call every night, every weekend? What does
Well,
that consist of?
when I first started at Van Hook, it's going on 7 years now, going on this June.
That's awesome.
So when I first started as an apprentice when I was 18, I was on call a lot more. I was on for almost a whole month straight. Now, I'm lucky I'm only on like 2 times a year, so it's definitely gone down a lot. But when I first was starting, it was like I had to do everything because you're a young guy, new guy, apprentice. So definitely has changed a lot. So now those choices between me going over someone's house when I'm on call is now different because I don't have to be on call as much, which is nice. But it's something, I guess, when you keep on working and growing, that, all right, it's a little perk, you're not on call as much anymore.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's great.
So I was like, I'd rather do the time when I'm young, on call, do a bunch of them, and then when I slowly progress and get older, it kind of knocks it down a little bit.
That's great. Yeah, that's pretty amazing for a young guy to be on call that much, right?
Yeah.
Like you were saying earlier, here you are, a college kid, and behaving certain ways, and
Yep.
here's Mark, 18 years old, basically behaving as an adult.
Oh,
And
yeah.
what you called it something? You said he had the because that's really interests me, by the way. He had the college experience,
Yeah.
but yet was making money the whole time.
Whole
So
time.
so you avoided college debt.
Yeah.
You avoided college debt while making money. So you not only did you not go into debt, but you were actually making money.
Yeah.
And you got to hang out with a bunch of college guys and
Yeah.
enjoy that
Yeah.
that atmosphere.
Yeah. Met a lot of new people still. It's not like I was just sheltered, just myself or a couple buddies from high school. I made a lot of new friends even through their college experience, which was nice. That was fun.
Yeah.
So what else about Mark have you recognized his work ethic? I assume he had work ethic before he started at Van Hook. There was something in him that you recognized early.
Well, I mean, the other thing I noted was caring and having the ability to actually show somebody that you care. And I think that is something that I think kind of has an interesting stigma around it in today's society of showing another person how much they have affected you, and really being extremely generous and thankful for that relationship, whether it might be a professional relationship, whether it might be a family relationship, whatever it may be. I think the act of actually saying, hey man, like, not, putting everything aside, you're very important to me, like, you make my life better, and I'm genuinely thankful for the friendship that we have. I think the ability to actually say that is a work ethic in itself.
I would agree.
You do that?
Yeah, all the time.
Mm-hmm. And Mark does it the best.
Since when?
God. I mean, as I got older, I did it more. Maybe, like, say, 8th, 9th grade, not as much. Maybe towards 10th, 11th, 12th, because you kind of, like, through early stage of high school, you find out, all right, these are the people that I like the most, that I click with. This is who I want to be around. So when you get more comfortable with people, I guess. But now, even through meeting people in the last few years of my life, I'm always, tell them, being nice to them, compliments, say, hey, like, I check up on people I've met 2 years ago. I'm like, hey man, how you doing? How's everything going?
That's great.
You're my buddy. Mm-hmm. I always respond with brother now with anyone, because it's just like,
Was that something that you saw in your family? Like, can you point to a catalyst that had you start behaving that way?
Yeah, because when I was younger, our family was close, for sure. And then obviously, as I got older, divorce and stuff, parents, I grew up that way, so I always wanted to be close to people. So I never wanted to be like that dude, or kid, I should say, that when my parents got divorced, I hate everyone, I'm going to do stuff that I shouldn't do. I'm like, all right, I got to be around good people.
So you made a conscious decision to say, okay, the truth, the neutral thinking, right? So the neutral thinking is, and the fact is, my parents got a divorce.
Yeah.
But I have a choice now. I can either, be mad at the world because of my circumstances, or I can be self-deterministic and choose to live a certain way, attract a certain type of person, be around a certain type of person. And unfortunately for you, you attracted a guy like DJ.
Yeah, and the good thing...
Yeah, that's too bad.
The good thing is, early in our lives, first, second grade, me and Dante were in class together, and we also joined Aquinas Lacrosse. And I think that youth lacrosse program really, like, me, you, Derek, brought us so close. Yeah. Even as being in first and second grade.
You meant me, not Dante, right? You said Dante?
Dante started, then you started.
Then I started,
Because me and Dante started, and then
you guys started before.
Mr. G talked to your dad, and then you came, and then Derek.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Derek started early too, because we played at the field where it burned down.
Yeah.
So you were there.
Yeah.
So that was like the OG.
Yeah. It definitely created a family of like third and fourth grade guys.
Yeah, it really did.
I mean, if you think about it, Mark Ditroia, Dante Giordano, Derek Richards. I live with Dante Giordano. I was with Derek Richards last night, and now I'm with Mark Ditroia today. Yeah. So it's like, from third and fourth grade, we developed a work ethic together, and we realized, all right, these are like Mark said, these are the kind of people I want to be around. I don't want to be around people who are lazy and don't necessarily want something. I want to be around people who are competitive, who are going to push me, and ultimately make me a better person. And I think we kind of realized that very young, so we're fortunate in that.
Yeah, aspect. I mean, this might be the first time I've ever talked to people that have connected caring, compassion, love with work ethic. I don't think I've ever had this discussion. So this is pretty cool for me.
It's groundbreaking.
Yeah, it's groundbreaking. You heard it here first.
We're breaking.
Acres of Diamonds, episode number 9.
It is, but you're right. It's not. You don't really necessarily associate love and compassion with a work ethic. And the more I thought about it, I was like, I think you totally do. There's something about loving people, compassionate people who want to do good things, and they want to work hard for it.
That's really real. That could be groundbreaking. Actually, that is really.
Well, if you want to keep a relationship strong, I mean, you gotta put in the time and
put in
make
the
the effort.
You gotta do work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, no, there's like sometimes like when you first meet someone, you want to be around them,
Mm-hmm.
you know, friend, girlfriend, whatever. You want to always like be like, oh, I got to show my best side
Mm-hmm.
for the first like month, and then, you know, not sending that text out every day because it's like, oh, I sent it out for the first 2 months. Now they know
They know I care about.
they know I care about. But no, you got to keep that rolling for your whole life because, and that's a job itself.
Yeah.
You know, you got to keep in touch with people. You got to keep your best self the same throughout your whole life. You're just gonna say, oh yeah, I'm doing good for a couple years now. I'm just gonna kind of coast along, and then that's where usually stuff doesn't work out.
That's very similar to what we talked about today with peaking.
Yeah,
You don't
you never
necessarily-
peak. You never peak if you're doing it right, right?
Yeah.
I mean, of
You don't
course,
want it.
You
People
don't-
say you got to peak. I'm like, I don't want to peak. I
No,
just-
you don't.
Yeah,
You know,
I just
you
wanna
never
keep
wanna
on.
peak.
Yeah.
Or I guess maybe another way to look at it, right, is you can peak in different ways. So like
Yeah.
the reference I made was Michael Jordan, right? So I personally don't think Michael Jordan ever peaked during his career because he was always bringing a new part, always improving the facet of his game, so he became a more complete player. And I personally don't view myself as ever peaking, right? I may peak in certain parts of my life, but then I'm gonna go resolve to get better and peak in a different part of my life, you
It's
know?
almost like a staircase.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and like you'll
Right.
you'll achieve something, you'll peak, you'll get to that point, then there's another one.
Right.
Then there's another one, and I think that's a very neutral way of thinking.
Yeah.
Well,
I agree.
yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. And I mean, I don't want to get too far off topic here. Maybe it's connected, but the people that climb Mount Everest, right? There's a lot of documentation about it. It takes them years to plan the trip, years and years and play, and then they hike it and they get to the top, and most of the deaths on the Everest climb are on the way down, because now they've accomplished the goal of climbing Everest. Their goal should probably be climb and descend Everest and stay alive, right? So that would keep their focus on actually staying alive at the end. The other thing they've studied is once they climb Everest, if they don't have goals after that staircase of Everest, they go into a depression.
Yeah.
Because now they've climbed the highest mountain in the world. What's next?
Yeah.
Right? It could be as simple as, all right, I'm going to clean my room every day and keep it spotless, right?
Yeah.
But you have to have, you know, people get anxious, stressed, and depressed. In my opinion, a lot of the reason is because of things we teach in Acres of Diamonds is they don't have a goal or a vision for who they want to be or what they want to do. Because once you have that in place, then you're going to take consistent action and make measurable progress over a reasonable time towards those goals, and you're going to feel good.
Yeah.
And your mind's not going to be idle thinking about what you should be doing, because you know what you should be doing, and you're doing it, you know?
Yep.
And that associates, I guess that associates to work ethic, right?
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you actually communicated a vision of, all right, I'm going to be an apprentice, then I'm going to ease my way out of being an apprentice, and right, eventually you're going to
Yeah, now I'm a full-time, you know, I was always full-time, but now I'm a mechanic. Next after mechanic is senior mechanic, and then executive tech, and then, you know, but I don't, see the thing is some people like go by that name, like, oh, I'm an apprentice, or now I'm a mechanic. I'm like, nah, I'm still gonna learn new things at my job, even if I'm here 7 years or it's gonna be 20 years. If I learn something new and I'm 20 years, been doing it 20 years, awesome. That's the thing. People are like afraid, once they're like, all right, I've been here 10 years, I don't gotta learn anything else, I don't gotta make myself better. You know, I'll always take, like, even some younger guys that have been doing it a couple years now, if they have an opinion on how to do a job or what they think, it's like, all right, yeah, let's try it out. It's not like, all right, no, I've been doing this longer than you, you're an apprentice, I'm a mechanic, it's my way or the highway.
That's a good point, and for people out there listening about that is great. Growth doesn't have to be always up, it can be horizontal. So and to your point, I've taken jobs now 3 or 4 times in different companies where I've either taken a step back in pay or stayed at par on pay, meaning no increase. And the reason being because I was going to be learning a new industry, which is valuable to me. I was going to be moving to a new city, which was valuable to me, right? I was going to be learning and making myself more valuable, and that has a dollar value on it to me, right? And every time it wasn't long before I was making a shit ton more money, right? Because now I have even more more experience, right? And it's outside of the industry I'm in.
And I think that's too the art of learning is 100% involved with work ethic, because people who learn things, it takes work to learn something. You don't Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, you actually have to consciously say, all right, I've learned this. Here's the value of it. Here's what I can take back from it. I think people who don't have the greatest of work ethics are okay with being constant. They're okay with a static, with not necessarily improving, because they're okay with where they are. And I'm not saying it's a problem to be okay with where you are.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, but at some point, I think it's definitely necessary to say, where am I going?
So I agree with what you just said, and I'm challenged with this a lot of times with lots of people. At the same time, I also believe that progress equals happiness.
Oh yeah. 100%.
So definition of success, I think, has to be completely personal, right? So monetary success doesn't have to be somebody's definition of success. Success could be happiness, and then if that's the case, then I believe happiness is defined by progress. I think people have to be growing or progressing in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Right? Learning.
Yep.
In some way, shape, or form to feel happy, to feel content.
I mean, look at Mark for example. Started as apprentice, moved to 2 or 3 years, then moved to mechanic. So it is a growth, and he is happy, and he is making progress. So
right.
I think you're totally right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's worth people reflecting on it. I mean, we have time, right? We have time right now. People, there's a lot of time for the next couple of weeks probably to reflect and figure out what we want to do with the rest of our lives, or at least the next year or two.
Yeah.
Right? What have we learned?
Mm-hmm.
What have we learned about ourselves? What do we like? What we don't like? What gives us juice? What doesn't give us juice? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I hope. I don't know. I'm with you, DJ and Mark. I think work ethic's at the core of a lot of this. And
yeah.
Yes. It's the ability to be okay with being passionate about something too. Because as we mentioned earlier, when I say, hey, I'm really passionate maybe about triathlons, or I'm really passionate about eating healthy, if I could see some people being like, oh, that kid loves that stuff, like he's weird. Why is that weird if I'm extremely passionate about something and I love working really hard at it? So that's where I think people who have these work ethics, I don't think they necessarily care about other people's opinions of their work ethic. I think
I agree.
I think that's a very underlying tone of it. It's like, listen, you can hop on this train with me and love triathlons too. If not, then get the hell out. Like that's okay. And that's okay. And I'm not
I'm not judging you.
I'm not judging you. That's you.
Please don't judge me.
Like you,
that's what it is.
Stay out of my way.
And Mark's saying, hey, I'll come over tonight. I'll hang out, but I have work at 8 a.m. in the morning, and then I have lawns at 12. That's what it is. And I got a ton of respect for people who are like, listen, I'm going to manage my personal life, and I'm going to manage my professional life. This is how it is.
You got to, obviously, sometimes you don't want to overwork and flood your life with work. You got, like you said, you got to have that balance. But sometimes work will take over more, but it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know, there's some months where it's like, all right, I haven't seen some people in 3-4 weeks because I've been busy at work. But then if you divide that, say, all right, I'm going to put in a 40-hour week instead of putting in a 50-hour week, so I could have more time. You got to just divide it all up.
Yeah.
Because I go out of town a lot to work, and I'm usually working 60 plus hours when I'm out of town, just because I'm out of town. I don't really know a whole lot of people. I'm just trying to work and get home. So it's like maybe that following week I'm home, so I'll take that Thursday or Friday off, and you just got to be smart with managing your time.
Yeah, time management.
Well, I'll tell you, Mark, I'm extremely impressed with the path you took.
Yeah.
And I encourage more people to look at the path that you took. And this is going to be a little off topic, but the return on investment in college has to be really, really questioned by people.
Yeah.
And I think you came about it in a different way, maybe not intentionally to start, but
no, it definitely was not intentional.
But I think it's possible for people to look at you as a role model and someone to aspire to be and make it intentional, right? My kids right now one went to 2 years of school, one went to 1. They're not going back next semester, I don't think, right? So I don't know if they'll go back. To be candid, I don't have an opinion either way. If they choose to go back, I want them to choose and be intentional and deliberate about the investment, right? If they choose not to go back, I want them to be intentional and deliberate by the career they choose, right? But I want them to think. I want them to think like you're thinking, and I want them to be able to sit there someday and say, yep, here's what I'm doing, this is why I'm doing it,
Yep.
and this is how I'm working hard, and these are decisions I'm making, and I'm proud of myself, and
Yeah.
that's what I want,
Yeah.
you know, as a dad. So there's a lot to be learned from the path you've taken.
Yeah, and it was definitely, it was not really nerve-wracking, but it's like one of those things, it's like, all right, I'm not going to school, what if something doesn't work out with this place, you know, what if they just, you know, what if something happens, like they, not saying anything would happen, but what if I started there a year and then something happened with the company?
Yeah.
You don't know, that's kind of like a risk you're taking, but that's also comes with, you know, when you start working there, you gotta like be friends with everyone, you know, talk to a lot of people, just see how the atmosphere is, you know, because some people just want to start a job and they're like, all right, I want to start just making money and I don't care about anyone else besides myself. No, you gotta kind of like explore into the company, and besides learning the trade, you know, get to know everyone, get to, you know, just kind of express yourself to them, see how they think about you. There's a lot to it starting a job. This is anything too, just not a trade, just any job.
Yeah.
Kind of like got to put in the work besides getting paid. Like say if you're like, I'm doing this stuff and I'm not getting paid for it, you kind of got to set it aside to do the extra stuff that doesn't even pertain to your job.
You gotta earn it.
Right.
100% you have to earn it. And I remember talking to my father before I went to school, and he printed out this packet about the return on investment, and he said, listen, he goes, I want you to go to school, I can see the value in it. He said, if you don't want to, and he wasn't hinting if you don't want to then don't go, but he was like, be aware of the decision that you make. And I remember talking to him after I graduated from college, and I was happy that I went to school. I learned a lot, I met a lot of people, and I said, Dad, I'm happy that I went to college, and we started talking to what if I didn't go to college, and I brought up Mark. I go, honestly, I think Mark did it the best. I go, and I will stand by that until I see something that proves me wrong. But Mark started working full-time at 18 and started making a full-time job salary, and then on the weekends hung out with his buddies.
Yeah.
I said he didn't go to class Monday through Friday, so he didn't have the stress of school, but granted he had the stress of work, but he was still making money. And then on Saturday and Sunday he hung out with us. I said, that to me seems like such an awesome journey over the past 4 years. I said, but we also have to realize he had the balls to do that.
Right,
Yeah.
he had the balls to buck the trend,
to
right?
actually do
And
that.
go against what the culture has been, and I'll say this, the culture has been brainwashed that you have to go to
Yes.
college. Listen closely. It's fucking bullshit.
Yes.
You don't have to go to college. You can, but whatever you choose, you have to be, just like your dad said,
Yes.
be intentional and deliberate about going to college. Don't do it because the culture's telling you to go.
Yes.
Do it because you know why you want to go. And if you don't have that, if you're not ready with that answer about college, then go do something like
Well,
Mark's done until your mind changes.
I think there's a difference in like the early 2000s college and college the last like, I don't know, say 5, 6 years. And I think social media is a huge influence on college because you see like all the like those crazy videos on Instagram, Facebook of like kids having like these huge parties at college. And I think that influences it a lot because, you know, back in the day, there's no Instagram or Snapchat or like, oh, look who's at this party or look at this place, what I'm doing in college. And I think kids just see the
I
social
never thought
media
about
aspect.
that. Yeah, I never thought about that.
You don't see someone in Instagram posting, you know, man, look at this professor teaching this class. You see, look at this kid doing a
keg stand.
A keg stand.
Yeah.
You know, look at him shotgun this 4 Loco and 5 White Claws in a row.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Not look what I just learned or what I built in this class, and look where it's going to lead me when I graduated. You know?
And when I asked my boys, why they're not choosing to go back, one of them said a friend of his who graduated called him and said, "Yeah, I'm surprised you lasted that long." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, you're different." He said, "What do you mean I'm different?" He goes, "That school is an elite babysitting service." That's what he called it.
It's a hell of a description.
That's what he. So that was interesting, right? And I've done some research with other people that have attended. They said that's a reasonable description. And now it makes sense. Now that you put the social media piece on it, now I'm starting to understand a little bit more of the equation. Thank you. That's a really good. That's a great insight.
And it takes a work ethic to ignore.
It's about 10 years. You're right. It's about 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot different.
Yeah.
In order to, when you see that social media, all that mental McDonald's coming in,
right,
that it takes a work ethic to ignore it.
To ignore it, yeah.
100%.
And to say, okay, this is bullshit.
I mean, granted, I can be entertained by it, but, and I thought about this this morning, there's a difference in between being entertained by something and being educated by something.
100%.
And you could still be entertained and educated. That's like the ultimate.
Well, that's what we're trying to do here.
Exactly.
I mean, honestly, we're probably not as good as at either of them as we want to be yet. But someday we want to be really good at informing and entertaining, right? And thought leadership. We want people to tune in to say, geez, I never thought about that. That Ditroia kid, he's pretty sharp. I never really thought about social media and its impact on convincing people to go to school. And it's not because of the what they're learning, it's because of the social people.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a great insight, right? That's what I want Acres of Diamonds to be, right? That's what I want this to be.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Mark.
And I had never thought of that.
I always thought of it that way.
And did you really?
Well, yeah, because when you're sitting at home and your friends are at a college party, but you're like, I'm at home because I had to go to work.
Right.
You see that, and it's like, I'm like, how many kids think like, oh, I wish I just went to college so I could,
party.
learn how to drink.
Yeah.
When I learned how to drink with them, but I didn't, have to go through the class part of it.
I'll tell you what, guys, this is bringing a number of things together, right? So this brings together to me the pressure that parents put on themselves and their children to participate in high school sports. Right? Oh my God, I got to be on this travel team. Oh my God, I got to be on that travel team. Blah, 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 blah. Because in the moment, high school sports is so critical and so important. Yes, it's a nice to have.
It is awesome. High school sports are great.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can have a wonderful, wonderful life without playing high school sports, just like you can have a wonderful, wonderful life without going to college.
Exactly.
You have to be strong and accept that there's alternatives. And you have to have that work ethic and that mental toughness to say, yeah, okay, ideally my kid would be a high school athlete. He's not good enough to be a high school athlete. So what is he going to do to get fulfillment, right? What is he going to do to learn the life skills, right? And that's what we're talking about here. College wasn't your answer. And there were times where you wondered, right? Where you wondered if it was or wasn't because of the social media piece, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, in the grand scheme of things, when you're 50, I'm telling you, it won't matter. No one's going to be asking you if you went to college.
Yeah.
And this is going back to social media, and it's an Instagram one. Now, the biggest thing is likes. People freak out about likes. Like, you're getting 400 likes, I get 70. Now, is it because I don't get as much because I didn't go to college? So people are like, all right, he's not a cool guy and, parties all the time. It's like, that's what people are like, so focused on the wrong thing.
Guys, social media is being designed to create addiction.
Yes.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's proven. It's proven. It activates the same chemicals in your brain as addiction. Dopamine.
It really does.
It does. It's very well documented at this point. It's not even a debate. So, the fact that we sit there, I mean, the addiction part, the way you get more likes is you go give more likes. Think about that that circle, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, I got to give more likes to get more likes. You're going to spend all your time in your phone giving likes and getting to get likes. I mean, it's crazy what they're doing to us.
It's crazy because people get paid off social media now. And now everyone's looking up. They're like, oh, I'm just going to start doing crazy stuff on Instagram and post myself jumping off like a car or jumping over a car just to see if I get paid for it.
Now the irony,
this guy did it.
And the irony of it is, right? We depend on social media to reach people.
Yeah.
Right.
Now
so
it's such a communication.
No, I mean with this is going to be posted on this podcast. We depend on exposure of social media.
And how else would you communicate it if you didn't have Instagram, Facebook, or a website? Yeah. It's like, what am I going to send out a mailer? Hey, we just put a podcast in. How would we even put a podcast up then?
It wouldn't be a podcast. It would be like us in a little conference room, and whoever wants to come comes.
It'd be radio. It'd be radio. Radio shows.
Yeah.
And by the way, watch. You heard it here first. That stuff will come back. Direct mail will come back.
Yeah.
Radio shows will come back because it's going to start.
Maybe we just
Things will be saturated, right?
maybe we
So
just talked ourselves into our next marketing campaign.
yeah, could be.
Don't know that.
Direct mail and radio.
Yeah, so all that stuff will come back because where the sheep are, you don't want to be.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Where the sheep are, you don't want to be. So you got to be looking like what Gretzky used to say, how do you score so many goals? I skate to where the puck's going to be.
Exactly.
Not to where it is.
Yeah.
I skate where it's going to be. Right?
Neutral thinking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is it going to be?
So, Mark, anything else to add? Thank you very much, by the way. I've learned a lot, and I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah.
What else? Anything else?
I mean, I could go on for hours if I really wanted to, but there's so much different things in life that you see. Because I've always been someone to kind of sit back and visualize an environment or people around me, and it's wild. You find out a lot of things that you wouldn't think you would notice just by kind of going through so many different areas and events in your life.
Yeah.
And it's pretty crazy.
Well, cool.
I mean, like that social media, all that, it's crazy. Sometimes I get caught into it, and I try not to, but sometimes it happens.
Well, now you know. Don't do it.
Yeah, now
No,
we know.
I tried it.
TJ, what about you? What else you got?
I think a good way to end this is to tap into one story about caring involving Mark. I remember our last game and on LeBeau Field when we were both walking off the field, and Mark played left tackle. And
Well, are you talking about the game I had to fill in for left tackle, or
our
was right
last
guard
game? Our last game
against Fairport?
The last game against Fairport.
And then Cash took my spot, and I had to take
Yeah, so
guard,
then you had
or
he had to fill in.
because we had a player get into an incident.
Yeah, it was a little drama, whatever. But it was our last game. We had finished off the season as seniors, and we were walking off the field, and it was all kind of hitting us all at once. And I remember Mark, like right before he walked off the field, he took a knee right before the track, and he just kind of like played with the grass a little bit and just kind of pulled a little bit up. And so I walked up next to him, and I just kind of like put my arm around him, and he was just like, "I love you, man," and I was like, "I love you too." And it was just, I don't know what it was. I mean, we were both crying by that point. We were messes, but it's just these feelings of, there's a reason that I asked Mark to be on here. It was because of this caring nature. It was because of this love. It was because of this awareness of his professional versus his personal life. He gets it, and not a lot of people that I personally know do get it. And I think it's extremely important to be aware of it, that there's nothing like knowing somebody cares about you, and that helps you so much in life.
Support is a big thing too.
Support.
You gotta support your friends, no matter which journey they take. It's got to be a good journey, but you might not be into it yourself, but you've got to get into it for your friend if you care about them. You got to support them 100%.
100%. That's why we have Mark today.
Yeah.
Well, great. Guys, I really, really appreciate it. I learned something. I learned a couple things today, and what a great way to start today.
Yeah.
So
Very good day.
thank you very much, gentlemen.
No problem.
Acres of Diamonds number
9.
Number 9. Thank you.
Thank you.